Welcome to the LP production of the Legend of Dragoon. This will be a walkthrough / let's play. This is a role-playing video game developed and published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation. It was released in Japan on December 2nd, 1999, and in North America on June 11th, 2000. It was also released in January 19, 2001 in Europe. Despite mixed critical reception, the game has amassed a very large fan base following, including several online petitions for a remake or prequel / sequel. The game was released on PlayStation Network in Japan on December 22nd, 2010, and in North America on May 1st, 2012. And I'm playing the PlayStation Network one. I did not play it when it originally came out. I heard many great things from friends who were playing at the time. I believe at the time I was playing the Final Fantasy series, specifically 7 and a little bit of 8. And I kind of regret not playing it back then. You know, the game's been wonderful so far. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you do too. This is the opening FMV, and you'll soon be hearing the theme song, If You Still Believe. The song is composed by Dennis Martin and sung by Alyssa Raven. It is the first track in the official soundtrack.
I can feel each moment as time goes by. We'd never be too far away. You would always be here, I heard you say. I never thought that it would be our last goodbye.
Okay, just to go into the prologue a little bit for this game, it takes place in a world called Ennis. The origin story for this world is that a great deity sowed a plant, a seed, into the land. The seed grew into a gigantic tree, the divine tree, which bore 108 fruit. Now, each of these fruit bore a different species. Now, the only ones that Prologue tells me about is number 97 is the Gigantos, number 99 is the Minotaurs, the 105 was the dragons, the humans were the 106th fruit, the wingless, magical flying wingless, were the 107th race, and the 108th fruit was the god of destruction. Years after the wing was defeated, and now the humans are free, of course. Now, this opening FMV is the actual Dart's hometown, who is the main character in this game, is now being destroyed. And you find out here that they're here for a girl specifically.
Great Commander, this way.
So, this is her.
Rosa, one of the main characters of the game.
Indeed. Put her in custody. Is this really necessary?
It is His Majesty, Emperor Dole's command to take that girl into custody.
Who is she?
That is not your concern.
Now, the whole opening scene with the town destroyed feels almost like a cliche at this point. You know, in most of these RPGs, most gamers nowadays, you know, good storytelling because it gives them some motivation, but it just feels like it's overdone nowadays. It's not bad; it works in the story, but it's always fun to see a little more, get some more interesting backstory. And this is our introduction to Rosa, also one of the main characters in the game. You'll see her a little more later in the game when she'll come into play. And you'll also see in just a few seconds the first dragon of the game. The green tusk dragon. Now we're entering Chapter 1, Saradan War, and this game is broken down into 4 chapters, one being which I believe is the longest. I don't know if that's due to the graphics or just the design choice they're making. You know, the dragon didn't look traditional dragon. It's not bad or anything. It's just interesting. You know? Now this is the first part of the game that the player has control. Whenever an exclamation point appears over you, it's a sign that you can actually interact with the environment or do something, and just generally just press X, which is kind of neat. It's different from a lot of the RPGs at the time where we can actually do stuff like that. Okay, this is the first battle of the game. And I generally love the battle system in this game. You know, it's a little more interactive than most. I mean, it's not something brand new. A lot of games, a few games like Legend of Dragoon, the Mario game, had this kind of the double tap where you basically tap at a certain time and do extra damage. Well, this one has more of a double hit. If you tap at the right time, you know, he'll do an extra attack.
Double flash.
And I heard it later in the game. I haven't played the whole game through yet, but I've heard later in the game it gets a lot more complicated, where you can do multiple hits, you know, more than two, you know, and it's fairly simple, you know. The glowing ball you see in the upper left-hand corner is the save spot, and I recommend saving whenever you see them. I mean, this game, you almost never know when a strong boss might be around the corner, and there's a lot of strong bosses. So I mean, save often as much as you can, you know, and you definitely won't regret saving. Now this is another fight. The gentleman you're going to fight now, the commander, isn't hard at all. You know, he's just slightly better than some of the guys you already fought. You really shouldn't have to really do much thinking with this one. You just attack, and if you need to, defend. Now, defending is interesting. You know, in this game, they have very little magic, very little healing things. There's only a certain amount of healing items you can hold to. The items are very limited. So what you use to heal really more than anything else is the defend tactic, and defending works wonderful. I mean, you really only will need to use items of any kind fighting strong bosses. I mean, I recommend saving those items for when you fight a good boss. Otherwise, just attack, defend as needed, and you should be fine. I mean, I generally when I get into the red, as far as HP, I'll start defending and won't stop until I get to, you know, I get to the point where everything's fine. And generally, if you do that, you'll never have a problem with any of the random items. I mean, the boss will find the only time where you have to actually use the healing item.
Yes! Double slash! Yes! Double slash! Here! Yes! Double lash!
And he's dead. Barely. And we level up. Now this guy I'm talking to right now, Master Tasman, is basically your tutorial guy. He'll teach you the battle system a little better, you know, how to fight and how to use different items and stuff. I chose not to take him up on his offer and fight him. But you can if you want, if you're new to the game, but I've played a pretty good amount. I think I have a pretty down pat at this point. But it's an option if you need it. Now the item I got just right now, the Stardust. The Stardust is a hidden collectible, which appears useless until you meet Martel and Basil. When you give your current number of Stardust in exchange for rare and one-of-a-kind accessories, the final reward she gives you is the Vanishing Stone, which gives you access to the Magician Vault, an optional super boss on this 3. It's very worthwhile to collect these items. You know, the accessories themselves are nice, and the ability to fight a super boss, you know, is nice. And you can only get them a certain amount on certain discs. I believe there's 20 on disc 1, 15 on disc 2, 11 on disc 3, and 4 on disc 4. So I recommend if you can, you know, to look up a guide. You know, it's definitely worthwhile. I'm gonna definitely get them all myself. It just seems worthwhile to me, and I kind of enjoy it. This is your first view of Helena Prison from Fruegel. I believe that's how you say his name. I'm not positive. But he's basically the first villain you fight in the game. He's not difficult or hard. You know, he's an interesting character. You know, he's rather an asshole. You will see a lot of him throwing his own men to their deaths, you know, and making threats and whatnot. But he definitely is an interesting character in the game. Poor dude never saw it coming. And this is your first view of the overworld map. Pretty straightforward. You really can only go along the path it sets for you. The game's very much on rails. You know, there's no big overworld like there would be in the Final Fantasy series. You can kind of go almost anywhere you want in those games. I mean, this game has a lot of options and stuff later, but for the most part, you know, there's only a certain amount of areas that'll let you go at a time. I generally like the environments in this game, you know, the backgrounds, the world, how interactive, how you can, you know, do certain stuff, move across objects, you know. it looks beautiful. You know, even for the graphics being what they are, for what time this was. I generally feel like they did a great job, you know.
Yes! Double slash! Yes! Double slash! Double slash! Yes! Yes! Double slash!
Now this next portion's a little mazy, but it's not too complicated, really, just a little trial and error and you'll find your way. And there are 2 treasure chests in this area, so I generally spend a little time trying to figure out how to get them, and it's really not hard. Now another thing I really enjoy is the enemies themselves. The enemies in this game are pretty varied from area to area. I mean, a few of them might look the same, but most of them don't. They probably have with some of the Final Fantasy games that a lot of the times, especially in 10, the enemies really were the same enemies in almost every area. They're just slightly different colors. You know, flags and bombs, just different slight varieties. But they were all the same enemies basically with the same moves. This game, it really does seem like they really mixed it up. Like I said, you've already seen 3 different ones in one area in just 2 battles. I mean, that itself is nice. And now it's flashback time. Now, generally, I would be editing out a lot of the random battles, but honestly, in this game, there's really so few. I mean, right now, it's 4 going through the entire area, and there's so few that I just felt like it wasn't really needed. I mean, I limited the time and subtracted the time it would take. I limited the battles. About out of an hour and 20-minute video is only about 15-20 minutes of actual fighting, so it wasn't too bad, you know, compared to a lot of the other RPGs of the time where the random battles just came over and over and over again.
Yes! Double flash!
And now this is another part that's going to come in a second where you have to press X, you know, to avoid a battle. And it's just another part where the game tries to be a little interactive. You know, they try to, you know, keep the player from not just, you know, Xing X through all these stuff, you know, where you're not really paying attention to what's happening. Now the thing about these save spots is you have to be right on them. You know, I've had it where I've stopped and I've actually had to move around a little bit just to save because you have to be in a specific spot exactly when you hear the ding. And I mean, it's not a really big deal. It's just, you know, it's just something about the game, you know.
Yes! Double flash! Yes! Double flash!
Now, the merchant who just ratted you out, you know, you can actually buy items from, which is useful if you need them. I chose not to this time, but it is something that you can do if you need. The nice thing as well about Hellena Prison is the enemies here, there are no random battles. You can actually see the enemies and choose to avoid them. And I avoided some, you know, you don't have to fight them, but there are enough in your path where you're going to get some experience, so it's no big deal. And, oh yeah, I forgot to grab a chest. Let's grab that real quick. Oh yeah, another thing about this prison is there are some chests you will not be able to get. This bugs the heck out of me, you know, I'm used to trying to grab everything I can, you know, make sure I don't miss anything. So for me, that chest right there in the top right was something I spent a good amount of time trying to get. It's fine because you come back here later and it's accessible then. Right now, there's no possible way of getting it.
Yes! Double slash! Yes! Yes!
Now I'm just going to grab a few more chests, you know. Never hurts to grab some items, you know. A lot of them are very useful, you know, equipment items as well.
Yes! Yes! Double slash! Yes! Double lash! Yes! Double lash! Yes! Double lash!
Up next, you'll be meeting Lavitz. He's a character that joins your party. They didn't get far. Not at all. This is the first fight you get to see Lavitz fight as well. Lavitz, I generally like this character. Very easy to time, you know, for me at least. It's about the same as Dart. Some of the later characters you get are a little harder. They almost seem to speed up as they get close, and it makes it a little more complicated for me. But he's very easy. He generally has a high attack.
Yes! Double lash!
High HP, you know,
Harpoon! Harpoon! Harpoon!
Now I'm just going to grab some items. Kind of look around. Somebody save that person. The interesting thing about these areas, they're all basically just a circle with cells around the exterior and around the interior. It's just the same circle. The enemies in this area seem to respawn. You know, they'll basically, people will walk into the actual zone, and if you leave that zone and walk back in, another person, the same person will walk back in the zone. So I believe this is the area where you can get almost unlimited fights if you wanted to, but there really is no point. I've noticed that in this game, you know, grinding's almost pointless, just because that it seems to take so much for you to gain the XP to level up to the next level, that it's almost not worth your time to spend 3-4 hours to maybe move up 2-3 levels in an area. I mean, the best way to really level up is to progress through the game, as you'll fight monsters and enemies that actually give you more experience, you know, which is generally how I play. I really don't like to grind.
Yes! Double slash! Harpoon! Yes! Double slash! Harpoon!
Basically, both pathways are blocked, and you have a locked door that we just passed a while back. And it just so happens that Dart finds a key, which is convenient. Which, convenient enough, says key to Shannon's cell.
Harpoon! Yes! Double slash! Yes! Yes! Double slash! Harpoon! Yes! Harpoon! Yes! Double slash! Harpoon!
And of course, he's not happy to hear about this. And I think we all see this coming. Another one bites the dust. One bites the dust. And this will be your first fight with Shana. She's fairly simple. She doesn't have a double attack like most of the characters, which is no real big deal, I guess. She does a little less damage than most of them, but she's all around good character, you know. Her attack does a decent amount of damage, all things considered.
Yes! Harpoon!
there's the merchant again. It's another opportunity to buy items if you need, and he's there now because there's a boss battle coming up, and the game's trying to make it easier for giving you options. The boss is Fruegel. He's not difficult at all. A little interesting backstory here. He kind of explained about why they destroyed the town, and basically it was his choice to do. I mean, all the emperor wanted was the girl, and he put the extra order in to destroy the town. So it just makes him a little more of a villain, I guess. You know, really didn't need enough reason to think he was a warden villain. Battle with Fruegel. He's not really that difficult at all. He has 90 HP. I think his earth-based attacks, you'll see him live like a true boulder. The one that throughout this battle. You start off fighting with him and two Helena warriors. They're very easy to beat, just like all the ones you've fought before. They have 9 HP, 10 HP, something like that.
Harpoon!
It gets a little more difficult when they're dead. Because once they're dead, you summon two senior wardens, and both of those have more HP, a stronger attack. And when they're defeated, they'll actually say something, and they'll throw gushing magma, which damages all your party for 15 damage, and not much at all. Once you kill the first one, after he's already thrown the gushing magma, the other one attack will increase, his defense will increase, and it'll be a lot harder to kill the second one. And the second one, once he's dead, will do the same thing, and throw a gushing magma. Now, the best way to beat them is to simply hit the goal an equal amount of times, so that once you kill one of them, the other one's supposed to be dead. So the idea is, instead of focusing on just one, eliminate it, and then focusing on the other, and then fight it twice the strength, just take them out about an equal amount of times. It'll take about 4 hits, for each of them doing about 5 or 6 damage, and then you should be fine.
Double slash!
they're both dead, all you gotta do is really just whittle down Fruegel. And my best bet is just to defend. If your HP's low, hit when it's high, you know, and you should be able to outmatch him, you know. I mean, his defending, he does almost very little damage to a person, you know. He's got very standard, you know, physical attacks, nothing too complicated. I kind of messed up here, and you know, just kept them healed up a little more to be slower, but I wanted just to get this one over with. So I lost a player, but it's fine. I got an actual angel prayer, which is the item in this game for you. It's kind of like, you know, harpoon down while they are getting to their own item. Yeah, so now this battle's basically just a grind. You know, you gotta defend, attack, defend.
Yes! Double slash! Harpoon! Yes! Double slash! Yes! Yes! Double slash! Harpoon! Yes! Double slash! Harpoon!
And it's over. That's basically it. I'm just going to get outside of the prison and save. I hope you like this playthrough. I'll hopefully do many more. I'll try to keep them all about an hour. I might see them a little long, but you know, hours is good. I mean, I don't want to make, you know, 80, 90, 100 videos, you know, because this is a fairly long game, you know, especially for its time. I don't want to give it, you know, its due, you know. I may edit out some of the random battles in the later ones to speed it up, but there isn't really a big problem with random battles in this game. mean, I know some of the Final Fantasy, some of the other series, Star Ocean, a few of the others have a bigger problem where they just keep coming over and over again. This really doesn't, you know. But yeah, well, I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, comments, please message me. Rate the video if you can. You know, any feedback is appreciated. This is my first video, so hopefully the audio is good, you know. And the video looks decent, I hope. Thanks again.